Hi, everyone. Elaine Marolakos Edelson here, and welcome to my training, How to Finally End the Battle Between Head and Heart and Use Your Intuition to Make Great Decisions. So I'm so excited to be here with you today, and thank you for being here too. And I want to make sure that everyone can hear me okay. Of course, if you can't hear me, oh well, you won't be hearing this. But you ought to see quote marks in the upper right-hand portion of your screen, if I know what it is you're looking at. And then you'll open up the chat box. You'll see the little the typing and the send at the bottom, the place to send the message. So if you can hear me okay, please send me a message. Let me know your name and where you're from. Now, if you're having a little bit of trouble, just remember to click on the quote marks up in the right-hand corner of your screen, and that'll open up the chat box. And if you do have some trouble, I want you to check your settings on your audio settings on your computer, your tablet, or your phone. And we're just going to take a minute. Oh, loud and clear, says Althea. Thank you. Hi, Althea. Long time no hear from. Hope you're well. Ash says, hello, I can hear you. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, so I just wanted to start out by sharing with you a little bit about why I created this particular training and what we're going to talk about so that you get the most out of it. I'm also going to ask that you sit back, relax, take it all in, let your consciousness process this, but also keep a notepad or a piece of paper handy with a pen later. You're going to want to take some notes on this content. And then we're going to dive right in after I share about what got me going to actually give this training. And I got so tired of spinning my wheels, and that I thought it was time to make a change. And when I did this many, many years ago, I started to document all of the things that I have used, and I've put many of them together in this program so that I can help you and that you can get the most out of this, so that you can create that bridge between your head and your heart and finally trust your intuition and trust what you're feeling inside. No matter where you come from, what you believe in, how you were raised, you have the power to make confident decisions in all aspects of your life. No more second guessing or doubting yourself, right? So how does that sound? Let's all do that. Oh, Adam is here as well. Hi, Adam. I'm glad I'm coming through now. Hope there's no tech issues. On occasion there might be, but we will have a replay. But I would like you to just turn up your volume, make sure for the people who are just joining, who else is on the training, just let me know. In the right-hand corner of in the upper part of your screen, I want you to open up your chat box. You'll see the quote marks. You click on that, and then you'll be able to type something in at the bottom and click send. If you're not too tech savvy, that's okay. I'm glad you're here. Hi, Jonathan from Virginia. And your happy smiling face. And here I am again, Elaine Marolakos Edelson. Folks, welcome to my training. Now, for the past 27 years, I've been an advisor and reader to psychologists, Wall Street financiers, celebrities, directors, folks all over the globe, just like you and me, who seek to make lasting, rewarding course corrections to help increase their intuition in positive ways. You know, we live in a really fast-paced society, and you mean, you just open up, the television, not too much, I hope, because it can drain you. But look at a newspaper. What we're going through in this world it seems like chaos, but chaos usually comes calling when we're ready to make a positive transition in the world and in ourselves, and that's where it comes from. So we want to embrace something that's not readily acknowledged as a power, a source of power, and that's your intuition. Embrace your intuition as a natural way of being and who you are and how you can accomplish whatever it is you'd like to accomplish in your world. And I'm not going to exclude the men, but most women are fundamentally more in touch with their intuition. Now, I know my husband is very sensitive male, and he's also working on his empathy in this lifetime, and he's fabulous, and he's very intuitive. And, oh, Beth says, I have no sound. You might want to check your settings on your computer and or your tablet or your phone or whatever you're using. And maybe Dean, you could type a message in as well if people can see that. I'm not certain. So using this method of superpower intuition, it's given to you at birth. I mean, you're born with it. It's who you are. And I was talking about how women are more fundamentally in touch, but with their intuition, but men are too. And more men are coming out of their roles as providers and the doers in the world, and they're opening up more and they're learning more about themselves. And I think that's amazing. And so the potential that you have to use your inner resource to become so wildly confident in the decisions that you make is here and now. It's in this moment. And I think that, seriously, it's power up. Because if you've got the confidence, gender aside, let's face it, at a certain age, you're taught to put away those dreams. You're taught to put away the toys and start making decisions from your head. And the best way, I think, to make a decision is using all parts of you. I call it the Holy Trinity. It is your body, mind, spirit connect. Now, as I check in with new people who are joining, some people aren't getting sound. So if you can hear me, you want to check at the upper right-hand corner of your screen where you see the quote marks, and you can click on that, open up the chat box, and you can type me a message. And I hope, if you can hear me, please check the sound on your tablet, your computer, etc. As we get into this now, I want to really get going. Okay, so I'm all for using the mind to make all your decisions, as you'll discover later on in this training. But I truly believe that your ultimate sense of confidence will come from using both your intuition and your mind. And the potential to tap your intuitive powers to get what you want in life, that fantastic career, to have more cash, healthy, happy relationships, it's huge, but it's highly underrated in using your intuition to get all this. I seriously believe that meditation and intuitive training ought to be taught in school. And it's not. The more centered you feel, the clearer your mind, the more present you are, and the faster you turn on the inner knowing, your intuition becomes part of your superpower. It really does. So here's what we're going to cover on today's training: why you doubt your intuition, even if you want to trust it with all of your might, and how to get beyond those stuck places that stop you from hearing and trusting that inner voice, to end the battle between your head and your heart. And then, yes, it's possible to use that intuition to make fabulous decisions. And finally, how to distinguish between your thoughts and your intuitive voice so that you can utilize the best of both worlds when making choices and decisions. And when you get stuck, it's important to understand that you get stuck when you're in your head. Your intuition is never stuck. Your intuition is never stuck, okay? So when you feel stuck, you're in your head. And that's the time to move into your body, into your intuitive power, and really access that. So now when you stick around to the end of this training, I've got something really special that I know you're going to love, but I want you to stay to the end of the training. All right, so let's get to it. And again, for those who are just joining us, please look at the top right-hand corner of your screen. You will see two quote marks, and you can click on that, get to the chat room. Some people can't hear anything. I'm not sure how to remedy that from this end, but please turn on your, I'm going to send you a mental intuitive message right now. Please, for those of us who can't hear me, please turn up your volume on your computer. All right, let's get to it. If you're not familiar with me or with my work, I'm a clairvoyant, an intuitive astrologer, and author of Minutes to Manifesting, How to See It, Get It, keep it. And I'm also the creator of Master Your Money Karma VIP program and Astrology Channel, etc.com. You are intuitive, and I want you to stick around for the whole program, the whole training. It'll take about an hour, and we're going to do a couple of exercises, but I want to talk to you about this intuitive power that you have. You may dismiss it. You may not believe it. You may trust it sometimes, but mistrust it when you're confused. So let's talk, first of all, what is intuition? And some folks call it their gut feeling. Some people call it their inner knowing, a hunch, the instinct, that tiny voice. And I'm sure you have other names for it. And if your mind doubts that inner voice, that knowing, that hunch, then you'll dismiss your intuition and miss out on all the magical insights and solutions, and ultimately your own validation for being itself. Have you ever been in the car driving somewhere and you got that feeling? Well, earlier I was talking about you're driving in the car, and before you know it, you're at your destination and you don't know how you got there. That's not being present. The more present you are, the easier it is to access that valuable intuition. So if you've ever been, this has happened to me so many times, and has it happened to you? I've been in the car driving down the road, and all of a sudden I get this feeling that I need to turn around and make a left or a right or just go in a different direction. And I do. And sometimes I don't know why, but I feel better. And maybe danger or disaster was averted. Who knows? I start to trust that more and more, especially being in this profession. I would like you to trust it. Or have you ever experienced that need to linger longer somewhere? At a meeting or just in the store, and then all of a sudden you understand why. You're validated. You bump into someone who needs your help, or they can help you, or if you hadn't stayed, who knows? Or have you ever gotten that feeling in a conversation with a new friend? This has happened to me so many times. I'm finally very thankful and grateful that I started to listen, where you get that feeling with a new friend in your life or a business associate to stop sharing and to step back a bit. Something's going on. Something inside of you is telling you to be more observant, to listen, to pay attention. This is your intuition at work. That's what it is. So recognize that right away. It's a very, we grow up, we're not taught to value 6 senses. It's only the 5. Well, the 6th sense is your superpower. And you'll be validated the more you listen to it. Now, being validated, yes, is wonderful when you have intuitive hits or experiences, but sometimes there isn't any validation. That takes ultimate trust and courage, except that inner feeling of confidence or strength. And you just know that you did the most appropriate thing for yourself or for someone else by trusting that intuition, because it comes from your heart. It comes from that part of you that doesn't have words. I knew a woman once. I had given this training last month, and I used this example, and people emailed me telling me, wow, what a powerful story this was. I knew a woman once who on her wedding day had an overwhelming feeling not to get married, that it was all wrong. Something was nagging at her, and this was not the man for her. Like, it was so profound that she was a Libra, by the way, if that matters to anyone. she was so overwhelmed, and she knew it was harmful. That was the word that she told me. It was harmful. This was in hindsight 20 years later. And her gut reaction resulted in that word, harm. She didn't want to get married. She told her father that morning, who was a very influential person in her life, and he said to her, it's just nerves. Everybody gets it. It's just nerves. You're getting cold feet. And because she wasn't able at the time to articulate her feelings or to define it, she went with someone else's definition of what she should do, right? I mean, you've done that, haven't you? I mean, it seems logical too. Yeah, cold feet, wedding, nervous, oh, new life, new start. Everyone gets nervous on their wedding day. Yeah, it's probably what's happening. Well, she married the man, and less than a year later, he hit her, and then he hit her again. And I just remember her telling me this story, and there had been no prior indication, no warning sign other than her gut feeling. So looking back, she realized that all along, when she had been with him before they got married, she had had stomach aches and surges of anxiety. Her body was talking to her. She blew it off every single time. and went into her head to rationalize why she wanted to be with him and to get married. She wanted to be married. But thankfully, she divorced him right away, and she paid more attention, and she's remarried and very happy today. And so I want to be really clear about something, and that is your intuition isn't about right or wrong. It's about what is most appropriate for you on a feeling level. What is most appropriate? So start to trust that you've already mastered some portion of your intuition, because you get these feelings, right? You get these feelings. Now you're going to go even further. You've got this wellspring of power in your being, and it's so much a part of who you are. I know moms have it a lot. They're really tuned into their kids, especially when they put aside their worry about their children. A lot of dads have it. My husband has it as well. And they can sense what's happening or about to. And it's that intuitive hunch, right? There was a study done by a doctor here in Arizona, Dr. Victor Shamus, in the Department of Psychology at the U of A, University of Arizona. And he did it with 100 pregnant women who did not know the gender of their baby. And they had no ultrasounds, no sonograms. And they were asked if they were having a boy or a girl, just on, gut feeling alone. And 70% of the women claimed to have their, quote, intuition about the gender. And they were correct. But this was the part that really got my attention about this study. What's even more astounding is that of the 30% who were incorrect about the gender of their child, when they were asked about their intuition, they were also asked if they preferred a boy or a girl. What was their desire? And they had a great desire. That 30% had a great desire. So what does that tell us? The other 70% had no preference. So what does this say? When you are attached to something, your intuition is clouded. So here's a quote from Dr. Shamus regarding that study. One of the interesting findings to come out of the study, explains Dr. Shamus, is that women who have a preference for one gender or the other don't tend to have accurate intuitions. The point is that there's a big difference between what you want to happen and what your intuition tells you is going to happen. When a woman really wants a boy or a girl, her desire gets in the way of her intuitive ability. That's profound. And that tells us, that brings us to this, why you doubt your intuition, even if you want to trust it with all your might. Now, there's a big answer, and there's two parts to this answer. But the big answer, as I mentioned, is your desire. It's your attachment to the outcome, attachment to a specific outcome or having it be a certain way. It will stop you from hearing your intuition every time. Now, we can get excited about something, and we can future project, and that's okay, because then we can start to manifest what we would really like. But when we say, yeah, it's got to be that, or, chocolate cake is really good for me because it makes me happy. But yet, you're gaining pounds and now you're diabetic. So we have to get beyond the attachment and the illusion that the attachment produces so that we can actually listen to what's going on inside of us. And just like pregnant women who really want either a boy or a girl, they couldn't hear their intuition because of desire. They were fixed on an outcome. Can you relate to this? Are you fixed on an outcome right now in this new year, 2017? You might say, oh, I've got a resolution. I want to start, a new job, or I'm going to work on my health, or I'm going to get better at communication, whatever it is. That doesn't need to become an attachment. It can be your intention, and you can pay attention to it, so that when your intuition comes up, you know how to respond to it. So when you future project on wanting to be something a certain way, you leave the present moment. And that's the key. You leave the present moment. And here's the other bigger reason, that if your past is present, then your future will most likely repeat itself. That may or may not be a happy thing. That depends on what's going on in your life and what you're creating. But if you'd like to alter your future outcomes, to be more insightful, to have greater clarity, to be more positive, to really train your intuition, then it is so key that you find the now, How many times have you ignored your gut feeling and replaced it with what you thought was right or what others said you should do? Too many. I'll answer for you. Or you could type yes in the chat box if you know that you've ignored your intuition. Because I know I have. And repeatedly, my daughter, my husband, everyone I know has. So in the here and now is the only place where a transition of any kind can really occur. When you think about it, I used to make our daughter's friends laugh when they would say, "Oh, Elaine or Miss Edelson, what time is it?" And I go, "It's now." I even have a watch that says now. And I'll say to my daughter's friends, ask me what time it is. They go, "All right, what time is it?" And I look at my watch and I go, "It's now." And I show them the watch. Most folks don't like to change. They don't want to be in the now because now can be boring. Now can be overwhelming. Now can be empty. Now can feel too much. It's easier for us to be in our heads. You can go over it in your mind 1,000 times, but change itself, transition only ever happens in the present moment. Think about that. But nobody, again, wants to change. Whatever is familiar is the road that we're on. We want to stay on it. That's okay. I don't need to do that. It's something brand new. It's too much of a learning curve. I don't, even if it makes you unhappy, you'll stay there. So in order to change that behavior, you have to alter your thoughts. And the easiest way to alter your thoughts is to get into the now. And it's a moment-to-moment process. And first of all, let's back it up. To do any of this, you need to commit to being willing to make the transition with the understanding that now takes time. That is the ultimate cosmic joke, right? On this earth, now takes time because you have to train yourself, right? You have to train yourself to be in the now in as many moments as possible. And that's not easy. How many times have I wandered through the house, with a sock in one hand and a spoon in the other saying, what am I doing in the kitchen? What am I doing with these things in the kitchen? And we've all been there. So, but once you have that understanding, then you'll go where your thoughts are generated. Okay, you follow your thoughts. It's the thoughts that lay the tracks for your wiring system. While the emotions in your body give those thoughts electrical charges that anchor the belief. All right, we're getting into a little bit of neuroscience here, so I want you to stay with me. And I'm going to say it again because I think it's really important. Your thoughts and emotions work together to anchor your beliefs, even if they're self-sabotaging or detrimental to your health or well-being. Now, I'm going to tell a little story, and those of you who know me, that you know this story. My own mom, Molly, she's 85. She'll be 86 in February. And when she was a child, before the age of 12, she lived through 2 house fires, completely destroyed. And these were tenement houses in Newark, New Jersey. She lost everything, both times, except the nightgown that she was wearing. They happened in the middle of the night. It was terrifying, terrifying. So imagine what her thoughts and emotions were anchored in during those experiences. Sadly, her dog, Bessie, died, but fortunately, no one else was hurt. But those events shaped her life forever. Now, my mom wouldn't allow candles, when I was growing up, no candles in the house ever. We couldn't run the dryer and the washing machine at the same time. She really had this huge fear that, and she was convinced that the machines would catch on fire. Now, in the past couple of years, I've worked with my mom so that she could have a candle burning on the kitchen counter, which is a marble countertop. And of course, it's a miracle. Hallelujah. But she was adamant that the candle holder, there had to be nothing else on the counter. No paper, nothing that could burn. But we helped to rework her neurons with the new patterns. And she relaxed. And now she'll burn incense on the counter and she'll have a candle burning and she's okay with it. But it took a long time. One traumatic experience took her out of being who she really is. And so, but it's never too late. And she's coming back. So it seems almost inconceivable that we have any happy life at all with so much trauma in the world, right? And all these near-miss experiences. It's like a crapshoot. It's random. But at the same time, it isn't. I'm telling you that it's not random. I'm telling you that once you know how it works in your brain and with your emotions, you can alter the future and create magical moments. Yes, As you create thoughts, you also ignite emotions to support those thoughts. So when you do this, you anchor the experience and make it a belief. Now, to undo the belief takes a little bit of work, but that's okay. If you're willing, right? You need to be willing and committed, and then you take action repeatedly, you create new patterns. The neurons in your brain that are anchored grow into more neurons to create an entire centralized system of beliefs. And they all fire the same memory impulses. They all say the same thing. So can you imagine what's going on in your brain? Half the time, oh, it's never going to happen. Oh, I'm too fat. I'll never fit into those jeans. This diet will never work. He'll never call me back. I'm not qualified. I'm overqualified. It's not enough. It's never enough. All that stuff is repeated in the back of your head over and over and over. Even if the front of you, your more conscious self is saying, I can do it. I'm ready for a change. I'm going to transmute this whole thing, and I'm going to, be lighter. I'm going to walk on water. I'm going to float in the air. I'm going to do it. But yet the neurons are anchored. And so you need to work with your brain technology if you want to change anything or transform anything. So each time you relive a thought or think about that one thought over and over and over again, after the holidays, I hate that he said that to me. I wish my, cousin were there. And I hear these stories of people that get stuck in the details, and I stop them and say, no, let's go to the neurons in your brain. We have to find that community of naysayers, and we have to alter their chatter. We have to stop the firing of this electrical impulse each time, again and again and again and again. I'm so anxious. How will I ever get ahead? There's not enough. It'll never happen. I don't have enough money. These are external matters that have nothing to do with who you really are. But here's the positive, really happy news. Your neurons make baby neurons now. And the electricity with memory is passed to the growing neurons, further embedding the thought. But even though it's hard to make a change sometimes, those neurons will fight to the death to stay alive, to keep you thinking that same victim thought. It's just a habit. It's crazy making, but you can stop it. This brings us to number 2 of today's training: how to get beyond those stuck places that stop you from hearing and trusting your inner voice. Yes, it is possible. I am positive proof. In this training, we're focusing on your thoughts, the driving force behind those thoughts, how they affect you, how they can shape your thoughts to support, I would say, new thoughts from new experiences to support and greatly enhance your intuitive life. Does that sound good? Yeah, I'll answer for you. It does sound good, and it does work. So why is it so important to understand how your brain works? Again, the more present you are, the quicker you can move your energy from negative to neutral, from neutral to positive. Imagine that. Close your eyes. Imagine that you are at the center of your entire world. And the thoughts that you think, that you generate, create a frequency. That frequency moves outside of your body, surrounding you. You can go from negative to negative and attract negative, because who you are is what you will attract into your world. You are the reason your world exists, your world. I have my reasons for what's in my world. You have yours for your world. Or you can think a thought and generate a frequency that is more positive. You can go to neutral first and just kind of chill, see what you really need. Or you can go to positive, and positive neurons create a frequency that results in attracting positive experiences. Yeah, I'll say that again. It's magical. Positive neurons in your brain, the thoughts that you think, coupled with emotions that give it the electrical charge that create more neurons, create a frequency that results in attracting positive experiences. So you can stand in the center of Home Depot, but just emanating this frequency of absolute abundance. And people will come up to you. Oh, you look so pretty in that sweater. Hey, is there anything you need? Can I help you today? Hey, we're having a sale. It doesn't start till tomorrow, but, since you're here now. These kinds of experiences we call, oh, what a coincidence, what a fluke. It was so fun, so rare, but they can be common. it can be common. You are what you think. Metaphysical masters have said this for thousands of years because it's true. Essentially, awareness of your repetitive thoughts helps you to have a starting point. Whoops. I just went a little freaky. My hand got a little excited. Okay. So if you don't know what you're thinking, then you're on autopilot. Hello? Wake up. Then how can you get from where you are now to where you want to be? Well, that's not too hard. It can happen. It takes time. Remember, now it takes time. If you keep doing what you've always done, you won't get there. Nothing will change. The types of relationships you have in your life, the amount of money in your bank, your body, your health, it'll be the same. Why? Because we create a frequency that creates our reality. Does that make sense? If anyone is confused about this information, please type it in the chat box and I will clarify. If you're good to go, we're good to go. The reason you're in the situation you're in now, whatever it is directly related to your thoughts, habits, and behaviors, and the emotional charges that feed the neurons. So in whatever lifetime or whatever your karma, no judgments on any of it. What you think, you become. And that is so true. And this is a very enlightening age. You chose to be here right now. Isn't that exciting? I mean, you made the decision before you ever got here and said, yeah, what you think you become. Oh, Ash has a question. What you think you become? Yeah. Because if you think that you are prosperous and you act, remember your body, mind, spirit are your holy trinity on this earth. So if your inspiration says, "Ooh, I want to create a widget and sell it to the public and make a lot of money," then your mind says, "I wonder how to do that." And then you go and you figure out how to do that, and then your body acts it out. Body, mind, spirit connection. And if you're positive about it and you deal with whatever comes up during the time, you create your entire world. Your ego. Okay, this is a great question. I'm just going to sidetrack just for a brief moment. Natalia wants to know, how do you handle the ego? The ego is your personal secretary. Give it a job. Your ego is not a negative thing. It's not an evil thing like so many people talk about, oh, your ego. You got to get rid of the ego. The ego manages your biology. The ego says, hello, we're hungry. Your ego says, there's danger around the corner. Ego says, weren't you supposed to take a break right now? Ego manages biology. You may not have heard this before, but it is true. Think about it. Ponder it. Everything I'm talking about today, whatever level of awareness or consciousness you are in this moment, think about what I'm saying. Don't take it as fact. See if it resonates with you. See if it excites you. See if it makes you feel like, oh, it's possible. How do you handle the ego? You give it a job. So the ego is like saying, if I want to start something, I want to get something done today. And I wake up and my ego says, yeah, we have 4 emails to write and we've got to, do these first 3 things on the list. Okay, great. It has a job. But it also says, oh, I'm hungry. So as you listen and cooperate and you take care of your biology, your ego is happy. Sometimes the ego gets a little out of control, thinking that it is in control. And that's how it gets a bad rap, really. But it's not in control. There is no such thing as control. You don't have control over anything except you. That's where you need to go. You look in the mirror every day and say, I'm trying to get all these people to do these things. You can't. I'm trying to get people to hear me. You can't. All you can do is look in the mirror and say, I love who you are. And if a voice comes out of you looking in that mirror and it says, yeah, that's not true, then you have a little work to do, a little healing work. But I don't want to get too sidetracked because what we're talking about today is going to help you get past these moments of whatever you want to call it, the control, negative ego. Once you let go of that and you let go of this sense of problem and victim and blame and what's wrong with the world and what you think you become. I believe myself to be a supportive, compassionate person. I didn't always believe that. In the beginning, I was insecure. In the beginning, I was filled with fear. So that fear dictated my life. I thought I was a victim, and I became a victim. And then I started to think, okay, I think I might want out of this planet. I might want out of here. This isn't going to work for me. Is this the rest of my life? I'm only, 18, 20. I can't do this the rest of my life. So I started to ask questions. If this is what life is, then how come everyone's not having the same experience? How come I'm having dreams that tell me something different? How come I have these, I didn't know it was intuition at the time, but how come I'm having these feelings that tell me something different? And I thought to myself, I'm crazy. I'm psychotic. I must be really crazy. Now, there's a history of a great-grandparent in my family who supposedly was crazy. And I thought, okay, it must be a DNA thing. I must be crazy. But instead of going on medication and talking to a doctor, I thought, I want to put something to the test. If this is crazy, if how I'm feeling is crazy, but I'm not harming myself or anyone else and it makes me feel better, I'd rather be crazy. Right? So when I had these impulses to trust something, and I would trust a little bit, like a kid inching up at the shore on the ocean, and I would step, oh, am I going to drown? Well, the ocean's out there. I'm standing here and I was terrified of the world. So what I did was I started to trust a little at a time. I would experiment, like I'm encouraging you to do. Think of the thoughts that you think on a daily basis. What's the negative stuff doing to you? What's the input doing to you? So the reason you are in whatever situation you are in is because it's directly related to your thoughts, habits, behaviors, and emotions. You can change, absolutely. You can change. And that's what we're talking about. Okay, we're just going to recap for just a minute. Every thought you think is coupled with an emotion or an event. Each time you relive it, you strengthen that thought and that emotion, and eventually it becomes your belief. And that belief becomes a pattern, and that pattern becomes a habit. Ta-da! Who knew that you were so powerful and the master of your own universe? Well, now you know. Your world is what you have created. If you'd like to uncreate a couple of things, not a problem. That's why you're here with me today. Stick around. No matter your age, and once you know how to be as present as possible, you can springboard beyond limiting thoughts and start to really hone your intuitive senses. Being in the now is the magic pill. It's the new black. It's that little black dress. And that's a pretty darn cool place to be. That's where it gets magical. I say before we get to the theater, the movie theater, I say to the universe, I trust that there's a parking space for us, even on this busy holiday. I know that there's a parking space for us. I just believe it. And I resonate a frequency from that belief. I believe it. There's no ulterior, there's no chatter in the back of my head that says, oh, fat chance. There isn't. For some things there are, and when there are, I do these exercises that I'm about to give you. But when there's not, I know it's true. And then we pull up to the theater, not a space to be had. We circle around once, look at that. They're pulling out, front row center. We pull right in. It's magic. You can, and it's not working your will against other people in the world. It's working your power. It's combining your body, mind, spirit. When you align body, mind, spirit, you're in the present moment. When you're in the present moment, you can use all of you, all of your senses and your intuition the most. Okay. You might already be very intuitive. And no matter what level of awareness you are in that you have right now, this training is going to help you go further. Now, not long ago, there used to be a big separation between spiritual practices, metaphysical practices, and science, but not so. It's called brain entrainment now. It's training your brain through audio or visual programs that facilitates intuitive portals. And you can go to my website, astrologychanneletc.com, and under the time-sensitive material link, it's for free. You can download the Bodhi Brainstorm. Bodhi means enlightenment in Sanskrit. And so you need headphones, and you read the PDF first, and this can help you to relax the resistance to transition, because most people are not hardwired to change. It's just not a human thing. Some people want to change, but we're going to get to that in a bit. So the more you train yourself to hear your intuition by using these scientifically proven simple techniques, they're so simple, you'll feel so much more confident every day. And it's little steps at a time. Sometimes we wake up and go, oh, that's it. I'm changing my life. I'm going to become something different. I'm moving. It took you how many years to get to where you are today? It's going to take you a little bit of time and a little bit of different knowledge to alter your reality. But you can feel more confident, more relaxed, and more decisive. And that's key. Because when you're connected to yourself and your inner knowing, your world and your universe open up to the most amazing, magical things. It does. Why? So why would you want this? Well, several reasons. You'll be able to feel more, intuit more, assess, then act on any decision in your life with absolute commitment and without the doubt. The doubt is the ego saying, I don't know if it's safe. So remember, the ego is managing your biology. Let it do that. Give it a job. Oh, ego says, I'm hungry. Go eat, go drink, go to the bathroom, rest, sleep. Be kind to yourself. So the more you use your intuition, no more head fighting the heart. No more conflict between the thoughts and your intuitive knowing. No more confusion when life is pushing you to hurry, make a decision, hurry up. Life can be a sales call sometimes, right? Hurry up and answer. And with technology now, the average attention span is 10 seconds. Unplug every once in a while and meditate. Capture the moment, slow it down. Do you ever see The Matrix, the movie? You could slow things down. You really can. Isn't that cool? Now, before I go on, I want you to have some pen and paper, and I'm going to have a little sip of my water because I'm going to share some really fascinating tips and some keys for you to be able to help you be more in the present to ignite more of your intuition. Okay. Oop. So everyone encounters doubt. It just happens, right? It's there. Anxiety, indecision. These are the emotions that stop you from hearing, feeling, and sensing, and then tapping into your intuition. So doubting that intuitive feeling also prevents you from trusting yourself. So when you don't trust, you tell the universe that you're a victim, that you have to do it by yourself, that you have to make all the decisions on your own. That's when you give your ego the power to be in control, but it's an illusion because you're not. And fear exists as a necessary component, however, to keep you alive for survival, to keep you safe. There will always be fear mechanisms in your brain and in your body until you're able to literally transfigure and transmutate into pure spirit. That's a whole different conversation. But until then, the more aware you become, a moment at a time, the less fearful you will be. And I think that's a really happy prospect for all of us. Instead, you can be guided by your intuition and that very strong sense of inner consciousness, of being present, being here, being a spirit in a physical form. And knowing how to reduce fear and give attention to what matters is really key. So if this makes sense to you, please enter yes in the chat box. I want to know that this is making sense, that you can use your intuition to help you make very clear decisions simply and easily over time. Thank you. Thanks for that. Beth, Dean. Okay. I don't want to sound like a Nike commercial, but you just have to do it. So let's take a pair of psychic binoculars to the thoughts that keep you stuck, those pesky little thoughts and patterns that get in the way of you trusting your intuition and your feelings. I want you to recognize, we're going to see how your past, present, and future come into play, and how your brain holds the key to all of it. So here are some fun facts. You might want to write these down and take them with you and pass them along to people in your life. These are keys to unlocking your powerful intuitive self. You're going to love these. It takes more energy for your brain to think a positive thought than a negative thought. These are all scientific. These are all scientific facts. That it takes more energy for your brain to think a positive thought than a negative thought. Okay. Here's the key number 2. For every one negative thought you think, it takes 3 times as many positive thoughts to quiet that thought. Okay? Let's picture that. Every one negative thought you think, you need 3 times as many positive thoughts to quell that vibe down. Why? Why do you have so many negative thoughts? Even if they're just, momentary or fleeting, even if you're a happy person, those negative thoughts, however fleeting, save you and keep you safe. Your brain chemicals are hardwired for survival on this planet. Dark corners, run, beware, caution, strange sound, cortisol spikes, and you get ready to run or defend. The fight or flight takes over. Burning building, it's biological. It's instinctual. It's easier. Here's key number 3. It's easier for your brain to think negative thoughts than positive ones. Isn't it easier? Think about this. This is why talk shows are so popular and radio programs that rant on about, and he did this and she did that, and look at what she was. I heard the other day about a certain singer on New Year's Eve, and all the people talking about her outfit and what she looked like and how big her thighs were, and blah, 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 blah. And I said to someone I knew, a family member, who was going on and on and on, and she did that, and it was so negative, and I said, I need you to stop. You are putting so much negative energy on this one person. It's an attack. We attack each other with this negative chatter. We attack ourselves. We attack others. And so it's easier for your brain to think a negative thought rather than a positive one because, again, it harkens back to you being safe so that you mistrust before you trust. When you're little, you're trusting. Then you learn when you fall, someone wasn't there to catch me. I don't trust that person. I don't trust that if I do this, I'm going to stand up okay on my own 2 feet. So we start to learn as we grow that we cannot trust everyone, but yet it's not about the people. I want you to understand this. It's not about the people in the world or the situations in the world. Look in the mirror. Always come back to you. You are the center of your world. You are the magnet for everything in your life. Now, talking about your experiences, all right, let's say, and I use this example a lot, let's say it's raining and you walk outside. You slip and you fall and you get hurt. And a part of your brain registers that one experience as negative. So that hurt, man. I don't want to do that again. So every time you're about to go out when it rains, the right prefrontal cortex, just above your forehead on the right side, is the right prefrontal cortex. It calls up the negative chatter. That's where it is. Oh no, it's raining. I'll probably slip. Maybe I'll fall. I don't have time for that. I'm busy. I don't know what to do. So then you go into your head, try to make a decision. You get confused. And from that moment on, you make decisions based on past experiences, right? And project all that stuff from the past onto people and future experiences, things that haven't even happened yet. Remember earlier I said if your past is present, then your future will most likely repeat itself? This is what I mean. And it's not necessarily a bad or a negative thing, but it becomes counterproductive if it stops you from achieving your goals or from being truly present in your awareness. All right, so let's get back to the idea and the example. It's raining outside. You once slipped and fell and had a negative experience, and now you're faced with either repeating the past or changing the pattern. Every new experience requires a pause, even if just for a moment. Where does pausing put you? Say it with me. In the now, in the present. I'm not saying don't be spontaneous, because that's exciting. That's a different conversation. I'm talking about recalibrating your past emotions and thoughts that are negative based on experiences and your neurons that are deeply embedded in your experience. And then to consider another option. Pausing helps you to do this. Just take a pause. That's it. Press the button. And this happened with our daughter, Aaliyah, yesterday. She had so many people. She's very popular, and sometimes she feels the need to, be with all her friends because they're all on vacation now from college. She said, I don't know what to do. So-and-so wants to see me, but so-and-so else wants to see, and then, they want me to sleep at their house. And I said, honey, it's really important that you just pause to check in with how you feel, not just what you need to do for others. And here's a great way to handle that on the phone. Life is busy. Somebody calls and says, oh, can you do this thing? And you really want to? Or you're automatically saying, yeah, I'll do it. Before you do that, just pause. And this is how you can pause with another person. Let me think about it, and I'll get back to you. How's later on today or tomorrow morning? How's in an hour? That's your pause. And in that time, you feel it through. Hit the pause button. Think it through. Hit the pause button. It puts you in the present moment where you can use your precious intuition to make fabulous decisions, right? Let's do that. Now, getting back to the raining example. It's raining out, and after pausing, you might say, I better wear rubber boots this time. Or I'm going to walk really slow. I need to take a sip of water. Or maybe you say, I'm not going out ever at all when it rains again. You might tune into TV reports or radio reports, and you hear about car accidents, and that seals the deal. Nah, I'm not going out. So fear has rerouted you. You might limit your future experiences because of one negative past experience. Do you have more than one negative past experience? I'll answer for you. Yes, you do. And sometimes they're recreated. So how do we get out of this loop? I'm telling you, body, mind, spirit, connect, present moment. Pause. Your superpower is in that alignment, body, mind, spirit, connection. Most folks use their minds or their bodies. But how often are your personal holy trinity aligned? There's a lot of people who go out in the rain and never slip or fall or become harmed in any way, whether it's raining or not. But there it is, your experience. This is something you want to understand by experience, by stopping yourself. When thinking a negative thought, if you remain detached from that thought, it will dissipate in 20 seconds. Experiment. The very next time you are thinking something negative, you just suddenly wake up in that thought. Have you ever been in that position where you're walking somewhere, or you're doing something, and you're busy, but in the back of your brain there's this thing that's going on, and it hasn't stopped? I called her yesterday. I asked her to call me back. She still hasn't called me back. What the blah, 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 and that chatter. Oh, catch yourself. Oh, I'm in a negative thought. I'm in a spiral. If you remain detached from that thought, it will dissipate in 20 seconds. The neuron or the thought that's been activated has electricity running through it. It dies in 20 seconds. It'll die down in 20 seconds. Experiment. But will you give yourself the patience to wait it out? Will you pause from this moment on for 20 seconds to let it pass, whatever it is? That's the question. I mean, sometimes we get so attached to our anger or our victim voice. It's like, no, it's like we have temper tantrums, I'll call it a hissy fit. I have them. I have stuff the other day go on, and I was just too tired, too busy, and I'm spinning, trying to do things for other people, and I stopped, and I just went, bah, 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 bah. My husband looked at me and said, "Okay, you feel better now?" No, I didn't. I felt kind of crappy because I was putting out all this negative crap in my world that had nothing to do with the real issue was that I didn't say no when I wanted to and needed to. That's a boundary issue. So let it pass. Give it 20 seconds. Most people don't like feeling anything negative unless it puts them in that superior mode of wanting to be better than someone else. And so then they'll rant and they'll go on those negative chants. You know what I'm talking about. It's the distractions really begin when we are in a feeling that doesn't feel good. Distractions. We've got them all. Computer games, phone apps, talking on the phone, complaining, watching video games, TV, eating, smoking, drinking, doing drugs, getting involved in solving other people's problems but not your own, or obsessing about the same thing over and over and over and over again. Fight or flight takes over and you leave the scene either emotionally or physically. When you do that, you break apart your trinity, your superpower. Instead of waiting it out 20 seconds, you have to be willing. Remember what I said earlier. You need to be willing, committed, patient, and honest. And understand that now takes time. Give yourself a chance. See what happens. It's not that hard to create this bridge from your mind to your intuition. It really isn't. So the very next time you feel angry or obsessed with getting something to work, or you're stuck in traffic and you want to, slam into the person ahead of you because you think they're not paying attention, take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. Give yourself 20 seconds to feel the energy dissipate. That's one very important key. Here's another one. Your brain cannot think a negative and positive thought at the same time. You ever try? You ever try sneezing and keeping your eyes open? It's the same. Here's what it might sound like in your brain. Oh, I'm so excited. I hope I get that job. Loser. Oh, I think he really likes me. Are you crazy? He hasn't even called you back. So the positive thought can be there, but it can be backed up by a negative. Or the negative thought can be there, conversely. Oh, it's never going to happen. Well, maybe it might, but the positive thought in the back of your head. Your brain can't do both at once. So it's up to you to make the choice which one you'd like to focus on. Where are you going to put your focus? And the more you look at words that are either positive or negative, this is really astounding. This is all scientifically, valid. The more you look at words that are positive or negative, your brain releases specific chemicals that either bring you down or lift you up. Would you rather get stuck in the mud, or do you want to fly? They're so simple. These remedies are so simple. Give yourself a chance to discover your inner power of transformation. I want you to write down 2 words right now that help you to feel positive, warm, cuddly, safe. Right now, write them down and look at them. Look at those words. How does it make you feel to look at these words? And then next to that, write down words that are fear, bankruptcy, anger, sticky, messy, confused. You look at these words and you can feel them. So your body is really reacting. I had a client, Caitlin, adorable. She said to me after a session, that you gave me such good advice for the times I have what she calls anxiety brain. I love that. And she's paralyzed with which way to go. She says, I've been singing aloud in my head the moment I feel stuck, and it works. That's one of the methods. Singing, bursting into song. She's applying what we talked about in our session, and she's seeing very real results. In fact, she fired her therapist She was seeing her therapist for 18 months, and she wasn't getting to the core of her fears. And in less than 2 months working with me, she applied everything we talked about. I'm urging you to. And these are simple things. She's moved to a new state. She negotiated to keep her job while she moved so she can work at home now. She never thought that was possible in a corporate situation. And so now her day job is paying for her to explore and find herself. You know, she uses the pause button early when she feels that negative voice coming on. That's what she tells me. She said, all I have to do is feel it coming on, and I hit the pause button. And she uses the exercises that we're talking about, and it transports her from being scared to excited about starting a new world, new life, new business. Now, it is time to see the light, right? No more walking in the dark. And I want to guide you through an exercise as a fun little bonus to help you open you up, get you out of those stuck places right now. I want you to stop wandering around in the dark and start looking for your own inner light and keep it burning bright. Let's tune in so you can get a barometer of where your brain's at with your current awareness. Remember, there's no right or wrong about any of this. There's no supposed to, or am I doing it right? I want you to be kind to yourself. And if you've never done anything like this before, be even kinder. You might expect instant results. Just let it be what it is. I will caution, if anyone out there listening has, anyone on this training has epilepsy or any type of seizures, I will caution you to consult a physician before doing any meditation or mindfulness exercise. Now, if anyone has meditated before, please let me know in the chat box. Give me a big yes. What I'd like you to do is turn off your distractions. Shut the door if you're at home or at work and you're able to listen to this at work. I want you to be able to get cozy, get comfortable. You can take your shoes off if you want. Do not lie down. Most times people fall asleep while they lie down. Your feet flat on the floor. Lift your shoulders up towards your ears and then drop them, allowing further relaxation. Just get really comfortable. Close your eyes. Inhale deeply through your nose and exhale out of your mouth. Once more, in through the nose and exhale out of your mouth. And focus on the sound of my voice as you breathe naturally. In and out, just sink into your chair. Now, thoughts might come and go in your mind. Just gently escort them to an imaginary door. It's okay if you can't see what we're talking about, but just imagine that it's there. Let the thoughts go. Send them on their way. Come back to the rise and fall of your chest as you breathe normally, naturally, easily. Always bring your thoughts back to the rise and fall of your chest as you breathe calmly. I'm going to be silent for 20 seconds. And in that time, I want you to just stay relaxed, eyes closed, breathing naturally, and begin. Okay, 20 seconds. Keep your eyes closed. I want you to focus on any pain or aches that are in your body. And if you're pain-free, then just put your attention on your hands. We're going to do another 20 seconds of silence. And begin. Okay, nice deep breath, counting back from 5, feeling aware, 4, remembering everything, 3, wiggle your fingers and your toes. 2, take in a deep breath. And 1, exhale and open your eyes. I want you to think back now in the first 30 seconds of silence, or 20 seconds of silence, where your mind was. Was it in the past? Were you thinking about what you had to do later on today? Or you thinking about your family? Conversations you had yesterday? Conversations you wish you had had? Or was your attention in the future about the rest of your day? Or where you need to get to in an hour? Or how much more can I sit here and listen to this without fidgeting? Did you think about later, tomorrow? Or did your mind bounce from future to past? Were you blank in the present? Not one thought between those ears? Did you make stuff up? Random, odd images floating around? It's interesting, isn't it, this exercise? It puts you in a place of being more present with who you are and what's happening in your mind and in your body. If you had more thoughts about your past, then you're more focused on remorse, regret, or sentimentality. Again, no right, wrong about it. It's just becoming aware of what your brain is doing and where your thoughts are going. If your thoughts were more in the future, you're focused more on either anxiety or excitement or the surrounding potential, your possibility. If you happen to stay mostly in the present, you are more connected to your intuitive knowing, even if you didn't glean any information. But no matter where your mind went, the present really is where you were building your inner intuitive voice. And it doesn't take long to do a minute exercise a day, minimum, to see where your mind is. Meditation and mindfulness exercises are a little longer, but they're very effective in putting you into the present moment. And that's the place where, your intuition resides. From this moment on, I want you to take timeouts, even if it's for just 30 seconds or 2 to 5 minutes a day, to do this exercise. And you start to create a bridge between your head and your heart and your thoughts and your intuition. The more you do this, the faster you develop your awareness. And if you're in a jam, you're in a tough spot and you need to access your intuition and it's not there, you don't think it's there because the first place, if you're in a dire situation, you're going to react or respond as you will. It'll be an emotional charge. But if you're in someone's asking you to make a decision and you're a little confused, I'm not sure if I want to go to the Italian restaurant tonight or have Indian food. I don't know. You're a little confused. You want them to decide. Or you're in a place that's not conducive to meditating, like you're in your car or you're at work or you're driving. I want you to do one of these simple things. Give yourself 20 seconds, that's it, to let it pass. Or clap your hands 5 times. Yep, scientifically proven. Or burst into song. That's what Caitlin, my client, does. She bursts into song, and it's called a pattern interrupt, and it stops her brain from spiraling into a negative place. Then that very next moment, that pause moment, is that's the most conscious moment. Body, mind, spirit connect. That's your alignment. Choose a more positive way to proceed. Clap your hands 5 times to break the pattern. Or you can also jump up and down. But if you're in a car, you wouldn't be doing that. But you can burst into song, clap your hands 5 times, or jump up and down, or give yourself 20 seconds to let it pass. These are actual methods that I use, my clients use. I know 2 neuroscientists who use them and then teach them. It's so simple. Now, the present is where once you pattern interrupt that negative spiral, the present is where your intuition is. So how would you like to access your intuition? in the here and now. Be present with it. From this moment onward, when you're attempting to distinguish between your head and your heart, between your thoughts and your intuition, you need to be in the present moment. Use the pattern interrupts, those keys, waiting 20 seconds, clapping your hands, jumping up and down, bursting into song, and then the very next moment is your pause. And whether through mindfulness exercises like little ones that we did in this training with 20 seconds, or any of the other exercises, clapping your hands or looking at positive words, that's a key to opening the intuitive door. It seems so simple, it seems like it wouldn't work, but it does. And what you'll notice in the 20 seconds, letting it pass, it dissipates. You ever have an argument and just after the argument, someone says, well, let's keep, we were watching a movie and then you argued about something and now you don't want to watch the movie. Now you just want to storm out and drive away, move, divorce, break glass. You need to give yourself time to let the energy dissipate. So when my husband and I have an argument, I will say to him, he'll say, okay, we good? I'll go, yeah, just give me a few seconds. I just need to readjust. Or he'll do the same. I said something yesterday that upset him, and it was a thoughtless thing. I didn't mean to say it, but what I said just bothered him. And I said, okay, I'm sorry. I do apologize. I didn't mean to say it. It was thoughtless. I was tired. I didn't hear what was coming out of my mouth. So I caught myself, and I apologized immediately. And then we had stopped talking. So we were eating, and I continued to eat, and I stopped and I said, well, do you need some time? Are we not going to talk? And he said, I just need a minute. And it dissipated. But how many times do we, and of course we were fine again, I'm laughing within a minute, but how many times do we not give ourselves that time to make the transition? A little patience goes so far with transitioning. Once you do this repeatedly throughout the day, got a negative thought. I just caught myself in a negative thought or pattern. Before I spiral into many moments or a week of it, I'm going to clap my hands, give myself 20 seconds to let it pass. I'm going to jump up and down. I'm going to burst into song. I'm going to let it go. And then replace it with something positive, something compassionate. Once you do this repeatedly throughout the day, it becomes muscle memory. Then you create new neurons in your brain. Yay! Then you become a pro. Then you are the professional at connecting your body, mind, spirit in the present, in the now, where you can hear your intuition. And, as a professional intuitive and channel for the past 27 years, I can tell you this, that when your mind has a notion followed by your intuition, your gut kicks in. There is zero doubt as to what the truth really is about whatever is going on in your world. And even if there's no data, where are the facts, the facts and figures to back up your truth, you know what it is. It's the truth. And the calm power that is your intuition is beyond words. Your intuitive voice is subtle, it's quiet, it's the voice of your inner knowing, your connection to everything in and out of your body, in this world, off planet, out of this world. I call it pure conscious love. Pure conscious love. Some people call it universe, compassion, higher self, God, divinity. Call it what you will. But that it's there waiting for your attention is a truth. So believe what you feel and trust in what you feel. But if what you feel starts to take you in a negative spiral, you have your pattern interrupts to get you present. And in that moment, you can replace what's going on inside of you in that pause, in your body, mind, spirit connection. You trust that your intuitive information, the hits that you get when faced with a decision or in any situation, is true. And you listen to that inner voice and what it's telling you. So for being here today and for spending time with me, I'd like to gift you an absolutely free discovery session with me. It's a personal one-on-one to say thank you for being here so that I can help you get past your intuitive blocks. I want to help you boost your intuition, to trust your gut, and get to the heart of what's stopping you. I've set aside time slots for tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and this Monday. That's January 6th, 7th, and 9th for your complimentary 15-minute discovery session. And again, there's no charge, my gift to you. But I do want to give you fair warning, spots are extremely limited. So once they're gone, I won't be adding any more. But before you take one, just see if this is for you. During the discovery session, we're going to get to the heart of what's getting in the way of your intuition. And I'm going to help you identify the source of your self-doubt when it comes to trusting that intuition and feeling confident about your decisions. I'm going to help you see where your self-sabotage comes from, where the block is to the flow, and to help guide you to trust your own intuition. And I'm also going to give you some simple steps to take to move your energy so you can connect with your personal intuitive voice. And this isn't, like a pat formula or anything. I want to share with you in your discovery session what is personal and specific to you based on who you are and the insight that I channel during the session. And I've done a lot of discovery sessions. They're very powerful. I mean, a lot can happen in 15 minutes. So it really matters where you are with who you are and what you're willing to transform. They can help you transform the way that you respond and relate to others when faced with making decisions and choices. And this includes the decisions and choices you make with regard to your partner, your spouse, your family, your friends, in business, with your boss. It includes your career. It's across the board. Your finances, your health, your purpose, your relationships, your passions. The information that comes through me in our discovery session comes without judgment, prejudice, or attachment. I want you to know that anything we talk about and discuss on the phone during your session is completely 100% confidential. I don't share your information at all. So I'll record the session digitally, then email it to you afterward. I recommend being as open and present as possible to hearing the truth, what I touch on, and no distractions during the session, please. Some people actually call me from their car and I say, no, you need to go somewhere and sit down without driving. So I want you to choose a quiet, private space when we speak. And I do want you to understand that this session is not a personal reading where I tell you about everything that's going on in your life and ways to harmonize your issues. This discovery session is specifically about you and your inner voice, your intuition, and specific obstacles that stop you and prevent you from igniting your power. So if you think that this discovery session is for you, to claim your free intuitive discovery session, please go to www.discoverywithelaine.com. Now, once you get to the page, please fill out the form. I need all the information requested to give you the most accurate, laser-focused insight regarding your intuition. I just need to take a sip of water. A lot of talking. It's kind of dry out here in Arizona. Now, also, if I've recently given you a reading or a discovery session and you're on this webinar, thank you so much for joining me again. I hope you got even more out of it. And I hope it's inspired you to keep going. But if we've recently spoken, then you already know what's keeping you stuck. And the information that I gave you is something for you to use daily and apply what we've already discussed privately. And I know it will help. I'd like to reserve the available spots for folks I've not spoken to in the past year or with those I've never had the pleasure of speaking with. So again, the spaces are set aside for a free intuitive discovery session on tomorrow, Friday, January 6th, Saturday the 7th, and Monday the 9th. And so that you have a clearer picture of how a discovery session might work if you've never had any type of reading or private one-on-one. Maybe your main issue is about stalling. When you have to make a decision, you procrastinate, or it's about mistrusting your own gut, or why you get stuck at important moments that stop your powerful flow of abundance. You know, it's really different for everyone. You'll walk away from your discovery session with a solution that if you apply, you will see results. And if you're ready to start using your intuition, I'd love to help you. So please go to www.discoverywithelaine.com right now and fill out the form and follow the easy instructions on the page. It's so simple. Now, before I take any questions, if anyone has a question, I want to thank you for taking the time to be with me today on this training. I think that's, it's so exciting for me to be able to help people. And just to have you here to spend this amount of time. I know people are busy. There's a lot going on. So I really appreciate that you are here on this training. So I truly hope that you use the strategies and the exercises so that that we talked about today, so that you can really start making confident and fabulous decisions. You can schedule your session, by the way, at the link that I gave you, www.discoverywithelaine.com. You can actually schedule your session with me through my calendar. It's called the Calendly. And it's a very simple thing to do. Okay, so if anybody has any questions in the chat room, I can take a few minutes, and I'm happy to do that while I take another sip of water. Oh, you're so welcome, Ash says. I hope it's helped. Remember to apply these techniques. They are so simple. People are looking for complicated. Life doesn't have to be complicated anymore. It really doesn't. And I encourage you to not just do these strategies that we talked about today, but also share them with your friends and family and compare notes. See what works more for others. I know someone who does not jump up and down to have their pattern interrupt, but they love to clap their hands. So they clap often, and it's working. And it's really powerful. So if no one has any questions or comments, I'll just wait one more moment. You're welcome again. Oh, you're welcome, Beth. And it is exciting. I hope it's been helpful to everyone. All right, folks, thank you again for spending time with me during this training. And I know that you're going to apply these strategies and find real results and start to really open up your intuition, and then start to really trust. And in the meantime, I wish you well. I wish you peace, and I'll see you again. Be well.